Hello, and welcome to Brand Clarity by Visions2images, where we focus on strategy and business development for entrepreneurs at all different levels through branding and digital marketing techniques. Susie Liberatore is the founder and art director of Visions2images Creative Services, LLC. For the last decade, she has personally been instrumental in bridging gaps between the global digital market and neighborhood locations for some of the biggest brands around. Growth is possible for even a single location with the right professional branding techniques and Susie's signature strategies of Visions2images. Stand out from your competitors and bring your visions to life while watching your sales skyrocket. Your host for this is Susie Liberatore, owner of Visions2images. So today is part 2 of 3 of our series. And I want to talk today about branding and marketing. This is one of my favorite episodes and topics right now. Branding and marketing, of course, we all know, what is that? Like, we all heard it. We all know we need it. We all have questions, thoughts, feelings about it. And I love being in this field because I love really seeing businesses develop and grow. I love seeing the results for my clients. When I started to see so many results for my clients, even during a pandemic, I realized that my actual business was missing out on opportunities. Isn't that funny how that works? We always work on our clients' work and we never really focus in on our marketing as much as we should in our branding. Years ago, gosh, when did I do my first logo? I don't know, but my old logo was probably about 5-6 years old. And it was at a time in my place where it was just starting off. I was freelancing. I wanted to be this Visions2image brand. And I just took on work. I took on solopreneurs. I took on things almost as a VA role. And my brand was horrible. It's going to be in the comments, guys. So check it out. Like, it was horrible, but it worked for a little while. But as the pandemic happened and I started to take on new clients, I realized where I needed to be with my business. I realized that I no longer really wanted to work with solopreneurs, and I really wanted to take my business to the next level. I really knew that I wanted to work with corporations and franchises and large established business owners. And it's where I took a step back in my business where I said, okay, who is my audience? What is going on with my brand, right? So I took a few steps back and I kind of thought, is my messaging clear? Is my branding clear? Are my images clear? Who do I want to work with? And it took some time. I brainstormed a lot. And I knew that I wanted that corporation feel. I knew that I wanted to work with all of those people that I just named off. And what happened is I realized after talking to my audience and my clients, they said, if you want to target those people, your brand doesn't portray that and your messaging doesn't. Now, sometimes we get stuck in our heads and we need to kind of step away. So that's why I asked for some outside advice, because I didn't know. I know I'm the marketing and branding expert and that's what I do. But when you're in your own business, it is so freaking hard sometimes to think for your own company. So I had to expand that horizon and I started to say, okay, yeah, she's right. I see what she's saying. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. So somehow it started off, somebody told me, okay, well, what about your colors? Your colors don't represent your audience. And I said, yeah, you're right. Now that's what I tell my clients all the time, right? Like, we need to make sure our colors match. So I started to do some diving in and saying, you know what, I need to do a dark royal blue because that shows royalty. It shows the corporate feel. It shows the professionalism. And it showed all these adjectives that were describing my audience. But what happened when I started to change everything to that color was I said, this color doesn't go with my old branding. I don't like any of this. And so what had happened, guys, is I rebranded myself. I realized that I needed to change my brand completely in order to reach my audience and to scale. I kid you not, I needed to change it. The minute I changed, it took some time, I went through my own branding process, but the minute that I changed, so many people gave so much positive feedback. They said, wow, this really targets a new audience. So many people in my networking, my audience, everybody was like, wow, and that color, that blue color that you picked is amazing. And I really fine-tuned the different aspects of my company. So there's like the podcast, the brand clarity, launching the group program, launching all of these different things that I knew my business needed so I could have those subcategories for the logos. I knew that I still wanted to have the blue color and the teal color and the gray colors, but I needed to put everything together to come to life. And I started to change my messaging as well. I mean, I changed all of my headers to portray who I needed to reach. And I changed that messaging that I was reaching those mid-size, large-size, corporation-size businesses. And that blue vibe gave that off. I kid you not, along with all of the other aspects that were changed. Your messaging, your brand, everything works together. And that's what I tell my clients all the time. You have to have all of the pieces in your branding wheel be consistent, cohesive to get to that lead generation. I love our branding wheel. I'm going to put that in the comments too. Our branding wheel goes through and kind of lets you think about all the services and where your brand is and what is missing. It's finding those gaps and figuring out what is working and what is not working. And I took a step back and realized it was my branding that I needed to change in order to get my lead generation up and to really scale. The next thing, and this is where my sales coach comes in again, we actually just finished my company mission. My company mission, we had to change kind of what the sound and how everything was working because, businesses change. And I wanted to really portray who I am and who my business is. So let me read this to you. Our mission, Visions2images supports businesses who help the hardworking families in their community live productive and prosperous lives. Super simple, super easy. We have thrived with helping local communities. Now, local communities are all over the United States, all over the world, all over the country. So it's not specific to Ohio necessarily, but it really helps any business who needs that local community to stand out. I have a home decor shop she does interior designing in North Carolina, and she just moved locations, and we helped build her audience, her old audience and a new audience by that mission statement right there. And we're very honest and trustworthy, and we really take pride in that mission statement. So now a little bit different stuff is time management. So time management, this goes back to outsourcing as well. Time management is critical in order to scale a business. Like if you don't have your crap together, you're not going to scale. You have to literally put project management systems into place. You need to literally make sure you have all your ducks in a line and make sure that you are flowing and just not being distracted. That is one of the biggest things that has changed as well. I mean, during the pandemic, when it first started and we were shut down, things were so different and so tough and so hard, and it was very hard to do time management. But once things got back into place, I realized, I guess, more so, okay, my son's at school this time. I need to make sure I get done these things. And if I need to do these things, I can do that later at night when he goes to sleep, or I can outsource it, like really defining how to manage your time. I think that's one of the biggest struggles that every business owner has because we wear ourselves out. But I promise you, when you have project management and time management, you will succeed. You will feel so much better and you will actually scale your business, period. One of my favorite things that also changed over the past year was storytelling. So I talked a little bit in episode 1 about how my story of being a single mom with an autistic son is my story. Storytelling is critical. All of my clients would agree. They get the results that they want because they are storytelling, because there's messaging behind it and you're not salesy, but people can relate and then they purchase. So think about that. Even when I have a client before and afters or whatever on my social media, I always give some background information about why and how they started and then the end result. So it's really diving in to let your audience know, because we can't assume that our audience knows and that they've been paying attention, right? We have to keep teaching and educating and sharing. Regardless if you think it's annoying or not, you have to. It takes an average person 3 to 5 times before they remember something or remember a brand or come back to you or whatever. During the pandemic, that number was completely different. It took somebody 10 times at least before they could remember a brand or come back to you or get that sale or see that consistency, because everybody during the pandemic was a hot mess and probably still is a hot mess. So the number is dramatically up for that. But think about it like this. Whenever I go to buy something, I might not buy it that same day. And this might be B2C, B2B, whatever. I mean, I could tell you a million different stories. But whenever I go to buy something, I might not buy it right away. I might not, if I don't know who they are or what they have. I might sit back on it. I might put it in my cart. I might come back to it, right? And then all of a sudden, I'll see it again, or I'll be thinking about it. Maybe they have Facebook ads. Maybe they sent me an email. Maybe this, maybe that. And I'm like, they're following me. They're stalking me on social media. I don't know if I want it yet. And then maybe I see my friend just bought it, or there's a review that I see on their Facebook page, or they're having a sale. And I'm like, oh, this is the perfect time to get this now. It took me 3 to 4 times before I bought it. Think about that story. I'm trying to think of another story as well. I mean, I'm getting a new roof currently, and I jumped the gun trying to use somebody that I thought would be reputable. And I did not foresee not using them, but I started to dive in deeper and I just didn't feel right. It didn't sit with me right. So, I mean, I saw them on social media, but I didn't get the vibe that I wanted. And so when I started to look at the other options, I know so many people in the roofing industry, I was like, I want a reputable person. And I started to Google and get the reviews and see who was really good and pull my connections. And it took me about 3 to 4 times again before I realized, okay, this is the person I want to go with. Because there's so many people. If you Google roofing companies near you, you're going to find a million. How do you narrow that down? And then do you sit back on it, or do you just impulsively decide? That's how we work as society and how our mind works. We take it in, typically, if it's a small or large purchase. Sometimes it could be just an outfit, right? Like it's something as simple as an outfit. I always fill my cart with Amazon outfits, and then I'm like, nope, I don't want this. And then I come back to it later because it says, oh, you looked at this recently. And I was like, oh, I did. And I kind of like it. So all of these things are how storytelling is happening and how it keeps showing up. I have so many people in the digital field, and I love hearing people's stories. I mean, there's a few people. Renee Rebar, my sales coach, I'll talk about her for a second. She always is storytelling. She tells amazing stories on all of her sales pages. Whenever she's doing a promo, she talks amazing stories. She has that lined up and together. And, when you do a promotion or a launch or any type of campaign, you have to do a story. It's not going to take one time, one day, one thing. It's going to take several times over time before it happens. It's just a given fact. So we really want to make sure that we're always storytelling and always showing up top of the mind and keep that marketing and branding going. Online marketing, this is kind of another good topic. I always try to do as much online marketing as I can. I do some Facebook ads. I do a lot of blog posts. I do a lot of videos. I do a lot of different things. But what I also know that really helps me personally is Facebook groups. I've literally gone into groups, connected, commented, shared, liked so many things. I have met probably, if not all of my clients online. I have literally met so many people, and I say met in quotations because they're all online. I've never met them in person. I met some in person, but take Renee Rebar, her mastermind, all those people we've met online and then met in person. So the online world is so amazing. There's going to be scammers, there's going to be spam, there's going to be all of those things, but that's where you come into play and you put your guard down, or you don't have to accept them or whatever. But I've grown my business. That's how I've worked with clients all over the United States, because I sit there and I find groups, and some days they have promo days. Some days they're saying, I'm looking for so-and-so. I really build my connections and nurture to these people. And sometimes people will tag me if they see keywords, whatnot. So I really build with the online marketing in that sense. And the last and final thing before I leave on this episode is reconnect with everyone. I go through, and this is part of my sales process with Renee. I know I talk so much about Renee, but she is amazing and has really helped me scale and grow my business. But you have to reconnect with everybody that you know, whether they're friends, acquaintances, family, old clients. Like, you need to connect, because what happens is when you show up, people are like, I haven't talked to her in a while. I wonder what she's up to. I wonder what she's doing. Oh, she's got her own company. Oh, that's neat. Oh, I heard somebody needed branding. Maybe I should connect the two of them. Oh, our marketing isn't good. Maybe I need to reach out to her. That's how the online marketing works, and reconnecting with everybody. So it's a pair, it's 2 and 2. So, I mean, you can do this a variety of different ways, right? Like, if somebody likes your post, you can outreach to them. You can go and like their post. You can sit there and talk and have a conversation. You can say, hey, it's been a while, let's reconnect. Like, all of the things. Or, hey, let's hop on a phone call and just chat and catch up. Now, don't go right into it. And this is where sales comes in, and you can talk to Renee, but don't go right into it and say, hey, you want to buy something? No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about building a connection and nurturing these people, because if we haven't talked in a while, they're not going to know much about me, and I'm not going to know much about them, right? So we really want to reconnect so that we can talk and see what's happening in each other's world. And then from there, if there's still like a good connection and a synergy there, then you can go in and say, hey, let's reconnect. Let's set up another time to chat, and let's see if we can help each other with business. Most of the time when you say that, people are going to say, yeah, let's connect and chat about business. And you could take that however you want to take it, right? Like, maybe they're not going to buy from you. Maybe you just need to share your story with them of what you're up to and what you're doing. So that's kind of where that comes into place, reconnecting with everybody. I typically try to do a certain amount a week. So I have it on my board. I have to book 30 appointments a week. 15 have to be lead prospecting, and then whatever else goes into sales or proposals or whatever. So if I do 30 a week, that's 30, 60, 90, I don't know, 120 a month. That could be a lot. It could be a little. I could do more. I could do less. But that's my sweet spot. And that's where I have found the most bang for my buck. And I really kind of go through, and I mean, sometimes people might not want to talk to me. Sometimes they don't, whatever. But I at least reach out to them, keep myself top of the mind. And a lot of times I'll send them just a quick message. Sometimes they're just busy and they can't get back to you right away neither. So I just go through and I reconnect with these people so that when they're ready, we can all chat. Call it what you want, but it has worked for me. And I'm super excited because all of these little things have grown and added up time and time again, where I've scaled my agency, guys, through all of these little details. And I'm so happy to share all of these with you, because no matter where you are in your business, or if you're an agency or just a business owner, these are tips that you can take right now and start today. You don't even need me for any of it, right? Like, you can just get started today. There's no reason why you can't implement some online marketing that I just explained to you, or reconnecting with people. There's no reason why you can't take that and go with it today, tomorrow, whatever. You really want to make sure that you're taking away something from today's episode. So I want to ask you guys, take away one thing today. Send me a message. Literally, I want you to send me a message, however you want to send it. You can send it via email. You can send it via Messenger. I'm all over the place. And let me know what you're taking away and working on, because I am here to help you and guide you. And I really want you to take these tips away, because they are amazing. And I want to be sharing them with you if I didn't see the result. On tomorrow's episode, or episode 3, whatever you watch it, maybe it's not tomorrow, we're going to have my special guest and my sales coach, Renee Rebar. And I'm super excited because it's a good one. It's already been recorded, and I'm so pumped because we really talk about some serious stuff on how I scaled my agency. So I hope you guys can take away, and feel free, definitely message me, ask me any questions that you might have. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode as much as I did recording it.